Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is the most electrifying podcast, the Styling and Profiling Podcast. My name is Hollywood Robertson, and my partner here has got 2 words for you.
What's up? My name is Arthur Pridgeon, and you're listening to the Styling and Profiling Podcast.
Austin 360. Acknowledge me. Hollywood but I'm better than you. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun. Styling and profiling.
Welcome back, everybody. Let's dive into Survivor Series World Games. The first match we have for you guys is Damage Control versus Team Bel Air. So, Wood, what were your thoughts on that match, and can you give us a recap?
I believe that it was a really good match to start out the pay-per-view. I think that the fact that they started out with a women's war game match and it being the way that it was, I mean, Damage Control, that is the perfect way to describe that match. You had Charlotte Flair doing all those really cool spots, Io Sky doing those spots. I mean, it was just, from start to finish, I was interested the entire time. And I can't really say that about women matches lately because they just don't entertain me as much because, you know, I like to watch everything go by fast. And I don't feel like they move as fast, but that women's war game match, that really opened my eyes. I really appreciate that they did that, to start it out especially. I mean, they could have started out with Santos, but they started out with the women's war game match, and immediately I was hooked. I was like, this is going to be a dang good pay-per-view. And, I mean, indeed it was. What were your thoughts about it?
I'll tell you one thing about the women's war game. To start off the match, start off any pay-per-view, you want your match to be as electrifying as they get.
You want a banger.
You want a banger of a match. And they did not disappoint. Like, you harken back to your points, the spots that Charlotte had, Io Sky had. The other thing is that, you know, that really got to me was the crowd and how lively they were the whole entire match. And throughout the whole match, you could hear them say, we want tables, we want tables. And then last, when Asuka entered, all you hear was, we want tables. She brought out 4 candlesticks, and then she brought out the table, and then that crowd erupted. So
I feel like any weapon that anybody wants is a table.
Of course.
It's always tables. And the entire show was, we want tables or CM Punk. CM Punk. We'll get back to that later. But I think we should dive into the men's war game. I don't want to wait to talk about it.
No, we can't wait to talk about that.
Man, the men's war game, you know, you start out and it's Seth and Finn. Great. I love their rivalry that they had. I mean, it's the longest, like with the fact that Seth injured Finn years ago, when Finn won the Universal Championship, and, you know, it's just kept building up, and he's fought him for the Heavyweight Championship. I mean, that was a great way to start it. And then, you know, you had all those great people in there. I mean, you had Jey Uso, you had Cody Rhodes, you had Seth Rollins, you had Sami Zayn, and, I mean, not to mention, you know, the Viper, the Apex Predator come in to save the day. But, I mean, and then you had Judgment Day. Judgment Day is a really good faction, and I think that's one of the best stories that they got going on in WWE. I just wish that they would utilize them more. But, I mean, you got Mr. Money in the Bank, you got the Undisputed Tag Team Champions, you got the Women's Champion, and you got the NXT, one of the NXT champions, you got Dominic Mysterio. JD's kind of out there, but, I mean, he took the spot at the end. So, I mean, all the way around, it was just energetic. And, I mean, people were on the edge of their seat the entire time. Right. And when it comes to the end, when, you know, Randy's supposed to come out, he doesn't come out immediately, but guess who comes out? Rhea Ripley. Ripley comes out there, and, I mean, everybody's like, no way. And she's about to cash in for Damian so he can pin Seth Rollins. I mean, but my thought process was, you know, Randy wasn't there, so the match wasn't official. So therefore, I don't really think that the pin would have worked. But, I mean, it's Judgment Day, so they probably would have pulled it out and let it happen. But then Randy comes out there, saves the day. And, you know, Vintage Orton, you see all the moves. Everybody does the little DDT from the middle rope. And, I mean, then you got the RKOs. Then you get JD on the top of the War Games cell. Seth Rollins on one side, Sami Zayn on the other. Push him off, RKO. Randy could have easily got, you know, the win, but he pretty much passed the torch to Cody to hit him with the crossroads and get the win. that was just a monumental moment, I feel like, for those two. After, the whole legacy thing, I feel like that was a monumental moment. What were your thoughts about it?
To see Randy Orton pass the torch to Cody Rhodes, you really can't help but think this is 14 years in the making. 14 years since 2009, when it was Cody Rhodes, Ted DiBiase, and Randy Orton to start their faction's evolution. And Randy was, trying to get over Triple H, trying to start his faction. And then now, in 2023, to see that, it's like, it's history. It's like you can't write a better script than this right here.
I mean, I believe that legacy, with what they had with the rivalry with Triple H, that was I think he was the best heel of all time, Randy Orton, at that time. Bald Randy was a menace.
God, yes.
That man,
he did not care about anything.
I hated him as a kid. I despised him. But let's get back to the Rhea Ripley topic. Rhea Ripley. Man, mommy.
Yes, she is.
Mommy, Rhea Ripley is so dominant, dude. I mean, I don't even know who I could see beating her, dude. I mean, you could have Charlotte, I guess, but like Rhea could fight in the men's division.
Oh,
dude.
yeah, without question.
I mean, Rhea could beat the crap out of Tozawa, honestly.
I think Rhea's like 5'11" or 5'10".
She's huge.
I know, she's huge.
She's getting a monster push, and everybody really wanted it after she won Royal Rumble, and she got the championship. I think that the women's division on Raw is better than SmackDown, I feel like. SmackDown's got more stars, I believe, but like Rhea, her presence is known, man.
Of course, mommy is here, and mommy don't play around at all. And harking to your point, this is one of the more dominant runs that we're ever going to see. You can compare it to like Shayna Baszler in NXT. You can compare it to other dominant, women's wrestlers. Beth Phoenix. You can talk about, Charlotte Flair's run.
Oh yeah, no doubt, she's the greatest women's wrestler of all time.
Yeah,
it's the Nature Boys. It's the Nature Boys' offspring, essentially. So.
Of course, like if you have genetics from Ric Flair and you're born in wrestling, it's only just a matter of
She was made for it.
Of course.
That's what I believe. But let's get into Gunther and The Miz. Before we get started, I would like to bring up that I do believe that The Miz is the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. And that right there is a shout out to Christopher Walston. I said that for you, but I also believe it. But Gunther, that man is on another level.
I got back watching wrestling, and I tell you, I've fallen in love with his style of wrestling.
Oh yeah, dude, he just beats you up.
He's
man.
a tank.
Them chops, you couldn't pay. I'd rather take an uppercut from Mike Tyson than take like 2 chops from Gunther, because I feel like my chest would cave in. I cannot do that. And he's huge. You gotta think, that man was like in the Royal Rumble for an hour when Cody Rhodes and him were in the final. I was like, yo, like you gotta have some really good conditioning to do all that.
Of course.
And he used to be a big fella, lost some weight, and he's a stud. But I do think that The Miz should have won. But here's why. I want to see Gunther get a bigger championship run. Mm-hmm. I believe, he's already broke the record for the longest reign. I think that he should go for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Oh, without question.
He'd murder Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
He would kill him.
Big boots, cross chop, whatever you call it, like knife edge chops.
Dude, they're so mean, dude.
I would say this about the type of I'd rather get chopped by Gunther than Mike Tyson. This is Mike Tyson we're talking about.
1 uppercut.
1 versus 2 chops. I might get my teeth knocked out, bro.
Yeah. Maybe I'll just take a punch in the arm by Mike Tyson. I take that back.
Okay, I'll take. Yeah. Give me 1.
Now that I think about it, it was a wild.
Yeah,
statement.
that's what I look. This is Mike Tyson. I'll take a punch right here and embrace. Yeah, 1 punch. Yeah.
What do you think about Santos' heel turn? Because my thoughts were, I did have a feeling that he was going to turn. I didn't know he was going to be as big of a heel as he is turning into. He told Ray after he hurt him, he hopes his leg never heals. He hopes he gets an infection and can't wrestle again. Like, that's personal, dude.
That is personal.
That is harsh.
And as a heel, you gotta get hatred.
That's cheap heat in my opinion.
It is cheap
but
heat. That's personal. That's got something.
That's personal. And you got, he was upset that Carlito joined the LWO. Mm-hmm. Carlito was supposed to fight him at Survivor Series. He hurts Carlito, so What happens? Dragon Lee comes in. Dragon Lee makes his first pay-per-view appearance with the WWE. I mean, he shows out, in my opinion. He does really good, takes the loss. I mean, that's how you push Santos as, one of your bigger heels, because nobody expected Dominic Mysterio to be as big of a heel as he is.
No.
And everybody hates him.
Everybody.
And I mean, he's not that good in the ring. Santos is way better in the ring. But I mean, they're going with personal, like, they want their fans to absolutely hate him. And I mean, who can hate Rey Mysterio?
No one can really hate.
And if you hate Rey Mysterio, you're not a real wrestling fan. You got to acknowledge and respect everything that Rey Mysterio has done for the WWE. And all across the world with wrestling industries. Like, he was All In with the first pay-per-view that Cody Rhodes, the Bucks, and Omega had.
Yeah.
He's been in Lucha Libre, WCW, ECW. I mean, he's the greatest luchador of all time.
There's no denying he is the greatest luchador ever. To ever put on the mask, to ever step in the ring. You think of luchador, who do you think of?
Rey
The
Mysterio.
one and only Rey Mysterio. And he has done so much, and like you said, he's done so much for other companies. I don't know if you remember this company. You remember Lucha Underground?
Yes, man.
God.
That introduced me into Ricochet. Santos was in that as well. I believe John Morrison was in it at one point. I think Del Rio was in there at one point. Pentagon was in there.
Yeah, oh my God, when Pentagon was in...
Pentagon's a menace.
He was a menace to society when he was in Lucha Underground.
We're going to get into Pentagon in a minute when we get into our dive right into AEW Dynamite. But let's get to the elephant in the room, as Triple H says. R-Truth's return. Nah, I'm just messing with y'all. I'm just messing with y'all. CM Punk. I'll speak first on this one. I did not think it was going to happen. I did not. Because I thought, him and, the game and the company, had beef.
Yeah.
But apparently they squashed it, because Triple H did say, whatever the fans want, the fans get. Hell has frozen over.
No joke.
And I mean, I don't even know what to expect coming from CM Punk. I mean, I heard there's now don't quote me on this, but I did hear that there was a rumor going around that there is a behavior clause in his contract, since, he tends to be an issue.
Of course.
I think he's going to be a yes man to the entire WWE. I know there's people that's going to be upset about it. I mean, you got people working their tails off, and, CM Punk comes back.
And then automatically. I mean, you can always tell how it's going to be in the locker room. I hate to get off topic, but look at the video with Seth Rollins when he saw CM Punk. There's already, issues as soon as he came back.
We will not show that clip
Nope.
because we are child friendly.
Yes, we are.
But we will say that the equivalent to Seth Rollins' reaction is if you're a little kid on Christmas morning, and you ask for something and you get the complete opposite.
True that.
That is how Seth Rollins was reacting. And I do believe that he reacted kind of like a baby. I do think it's a work. I do. But I do think that there is, my guy, Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart. They had real heat, but they were also able to make some bangers when it comes to the fans.
Yeah, Iron Man match.
Iron Man match. Greatest Iron Man match of all time, behind MJF and Bryan Danielson, in my opinion. But Shawn Michaels, great guy. Now. Not a great guy back then.
Not in his early days.
No. And he was a cancer, and so was CM Punk.
Yeah.
But hell freezes over. Shawn Michaels came back. CM Punk came back. I do believe that this will be some of the best work that we will see.
Yeah.
I just don't know how they're going to book it right now. But I say we should get into Raw. Raw was like Raw after Mania, dude. Raw after Mania was bad this year, but this Raw, it was heat.
True.
I made sure that I was in my room locked in the entire time. It starts out with Randy Orton coming out there to give a little promo. And then, Rhea Ripley comes out there, sets up a match for him and Dominic. Jelly Roll's there as well. If y'all don't know Jelly Roll is a good artist, in my opinion.
I love Jelly Roll here. Good artist.
But I'd say the biggest thing that stuck out to me is when Cody came out there to talk about how he's going to be the first entrant into the 2024 Royal Rumble. Then lights go out, and Shinsuke's on the screen. Shinsuke, I like the way his character's going. He's able to speak his normal tongue. And, when he speaks English, it doesn't go out that well. But he's able to speak his normal tongue, and he's become a heel. And he's really good at being a heel. And that's how, when he came out there and then he spit the mist into Cody's face, ticked everybody off.
Yeah.
That just happens, And and I feel like that's going to be a really good feud to boil over. I think that if this feud keeps going, that Shinsuke is going to cost him winning the Royal Rumble. That's how I feel. But I do still want to see Cody and Roman at WrestleMania.
You got to complete the story. You
got to.
You got to. I mean, it's sort of like, it's a big comparison. Like, if you think of Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, if they have a rematch, you're looking at Cena Rock again, all over again. Because they had a whole year build for the first WrestleMania when Rock cost Cena the WWE title, and then they had a whole year's feud, which led to 28.
Well, it went out like this with the Cena and Rock feud. Cena and Rock fought at WrestleMania for the first time ever. Yada yada yada. Punk gets the championship. Punk loses to The Rock at Royal Rumble. Cena wants to fight Rock. He ends up beating The Rock at WrestleMania. We don't see Rock fight like that again. And I mean, he came back not too long ago, but I thought he was going to stay longer. To kind of feud with Roman. I still want to see that, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
I doubt it.
But the feuds are very, very interesting here. Let's get into Seth versus Jey Uso. This was also a highlight of that night. Seth comes out there, yada yada, doesn't talk great about CM Punk. Says, not going to waste my breath. Understandable. They're setting up a feud.
Yeah.
But they just don't want to admit it yet. But Drew McIntyre comes out there. He's had a feud with Seth, talking about how he wants the heavyweight championship. He's got his mind straight. He wants the title. Seth says, well, I do believe that you deserve it, but there's other people in front of him. And if you know, Drew McIntyre and Jey Uso have had a feud because the Bloodline costed Drew his shot to win at Clash of the Castle in front of his home crowd. But you've also got it where Seth says Jey Uso is going to be the next one to fight for the title. Drew headbutts him, and that was a real headbutt. You could see him bleeding immediately. I think he might have hit the title. I'm not positive. But you also have Jey comes out there in his little slow run, saves the day. Then you see backstage Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre. Drew's upset that he lost, the title in his home crowd. So did Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
And lost to the Bloodline as well. I mean, and when he was at Elimination Chamber in front of his home crowd, he lost the title.
I thought he was going to win that.
I didn't, because who sees Sami Zayn beating Roman Reigns?
I mean, the way I had it built up, it was like the underdog winning in front of his home crowd.
Yeah, but I could never see that. I'm not gonna lie.
I was rooting hard for Sami Zayn to win. I mean, then the Bloodline interfered, and then the rest is history. But that night, I thought he was going to lose to Sami Zayn. I really did.
What did you think about Punk's promo? I'm gonna let you start off on that one.
Well, let's just address this. To cap off his promo, he said he's not here to make friends, but make money.
That's the most CM Punk thing I've ever heard.
That's the most CM Punk thing. And then when you hear him return, he's like catering to the crowd because, of course, he's a babyface now. He just came back, and we never thought he'd come back. 9 years in the making. But to end off on that promo, so I'm not here to make friends, but to make money. You're thinking to yourself,
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if that was scripted or not. I believe that Triple H is such a good, like, with his creative. I think it was scripted, but I think that he wants people to think it's not.
Yeah.
I believe that Punk's going to show some of his old self, but that be his on-screen character. I don't think that's going to be his real attitude backstage. But I think the next feed's going to be Seth and him. I just don't know when it's going to be, because obviously him and Drew are still going on.
Yeah.
I don't know when we'll see our first match with CM Punk. I've never been a big CM Punk guy. I mean, I think he's pretty old now. He's got gray in his beard. I'm interested to see him as a talent, but I'm not interested to see him in the ring. I feel like, his pipe bomb promo talks about, I'm the best in the world, in this ring, on this microphone, even at commentary. I would love to see him at commentary. I would love to see him over Corey Graves.
I know, Corey Graves getting old at this point.
If I see Pat McAfee and CM Punk at the commentary table with Michael Cole in the middle, I would have so much fun. And also to hear CM Punk talk crap to Byron Saxton. Byron Saxton is annoying.
He is very annoying.
And if I were to just hear him flame him the whole time, I would be so fine with that.
Yes.
100%. I would not complain at all.
And then, like, I wish Pat McAfee would come back to SmackDown and commentate because, like you said, Corey Graves is getting old. I mean, this is like how long has he been commentating? 7, 8 years, 7. 6
It
years?
feels like it.
I know he's been commentating for like 7, 6 years now, and then to get someone freshman, McAfee and Cole were doing it in 2021, 2022. It felt new. It felt lively. It felt like I would engage in the show a lot more. But when Graves came back, it's like, here we go again. But like you said, CM Punk, the pipe bomb promo, one of the greatest promos of all time. But for him to do that now, I mean, it's kind of outdated. That was, 12 years ago, the pipe bomb
Yeah,
promo?
but I mean, I still think it's infamous. I mean, he brought it up in the at AEW, and I mean, he got a pop for it. He got a pop for it here. I mean, that's the thing that made CM Punk, I feel like, in the WWE. I mean, he had a historic indie career, but that's what made CM Punk.
That pipe bomb.
That pipe bomb. And I mean, and that's what really put him out there as, you know, the voice of the voiceless. He's going to say whatever he feels.
Mm-hmm.
But with that going on, let's get into Dynamite, man. My favorite show. Now, I get, you know, you see all the WWE stuff we're talking about. MJF's my favorite wrestler right now. I love the guy.
Yeah, scarf.
The scarf. $15 off Amazon, by the way. Not real. But let's start out with the opening match. Moxley versus Jay Lethal. Man, I knew Moxley was going to win. Moxley's that guy. Moxley is, in my opinion, the face of AEW. I mean, you could say Kenny and MJF, but Moxley's a workhorse.
Yeah.
I mean, he fights like every night. And he loves to fight.
His character's built like that, and he's also made like that.
Yeah, dude, he's crazy.
He's crazy. Have you seen? You remember Moxley in the
CZW?
Yeah, oh my gosh,
Dude, he had like a chainsaw up to his head, bro.
I know, like
They come near death.
I know. In CZW, they came to death, and he was the face of CCW.
And Moxley wins with a submission hold. Shocker. I mean, that's how he's going to win every single match.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I believe. What are your genuine thoughts on Jon Moxley?
One crazy dude. That's the best way I can describe. But the way how he wrestles in ring and the punishment he takes on a night-to-night basis, and to see his matches, and for him to still go at this rate in his career, you can't help but admire the guy. And like you said, he is the. I mean, you can argue Kenny Omega, MJF, Samoa Joe. You can argue all those guys, but he's there every freaking night, putting on show after show after show, and that's not even including the pay-per-view matches he has. Yeah, his pay-per-view matches, bro.
He's crazy.
Bro.
He's crazy. But Mark Briscoe versus Roosh, another match in the Continental Classic. You know, Roosh takes the win. Shocker. Roosh is getting a push, I believe. He's been off screen for a while, but he's getting a push. I believe AEW is pushing a lot of new guys, which is what I love to see. Mm-hmm. And you gotta love having Mark Briscoe on the television. I mean, he's just a character. He reminds me of like a bushwhacker, but like more sophisticated. And I mean, he's not even that sophisticated. Like, he's still crazy. I mean, he's got like 2 missing teeth right here. He's bald. He's got all these patchy tattoos. I mean, he looks like a rough one. Yeah. And I mean, he is.
He looks like he's from, where is he? I think they're from Maine or something like that.
No, they're from, Sandy Fork, Delaware. Sandy Fork, Delaware.
Yeah.
Sandy Fork, Delaware. The Sussex County Chicken. That's what he is. That's what he is. But that was probably my favorite match of the night, besides the main event, because that was just a brutal match. It was like they fit the same wrestling type, just pounding on each other. But next, you know, the model of our show is the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Ric Flair appears on Dynamite backstage with Tony Schiavone and Sting talking about Sting's last match. Where's it going to be? Greensboro, North Carolina.
Oh.
If y'all don't know, we're in Rocky Mount, North Carolina right now. Greensboro Coliseum, I went there to watch Collision. Man, I've never been there before, but the fact that I know Dusty Rhodes, Steamboat, and Flair have all walked in that building.
You talking about?
History.
Yes.
History.
The Mona Lisa's right there.
Now, on some people's Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about the promo skills that happened there, I hate to say it, Rick, I hope you're not watching, most likely you're not, but you will one day. Dog. I'm gonna get real personal here. You're not 80s, 90s Flair anymore. I just need, I don't need you to ramble on if you don't know what you're talking about. Okay.
If he remembers.
Yeah, if you remember. Like, he talks about, he's had great moments. Everybody knows he has great moments. Styling and profiling.
One of the greatest ever.
Greatest of all time behind Shawn Michaels. But, I mean, he stutters a good amount of times, and I hate to see it, because everybody loves Nature Boy. Everybody knows Nature Boy. I hate that he's, I love the fact they're bringing him back, but I also hate at the same time.
Yeah.
He can be in AEW, but I just can't see him struggle.
I know. It's sort of like, I know it's probably not as severe as Jake the Snake Roberts. That one night he came out. Oh my God, that was rough. We don't want to see, legends.
Yeah.
On their last leg like that.
Yeah, man.
It was rough.
Let's get to this MJF promo. He calls out Samoa Joe. They're fighting at Worlds Collide.
Mm-hmm.
And who comes out? The Devil's minions, I guess. They're about to hit him with a bat, I believe it was. Then Samoa Joe comes out to save the day. As he said earlier in the weeks, he's there to protect MJF, to make sure that he's 100% fully healthy for the match, so he can't have an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
Samoa Joe comes out there to save him. Devil has this text appear on the big screen. It says, talking about, are you a hero? Would you accept a tag team match? And I don't know if it meant like two of the Devil's guys versus Samoa Joe and MJF, or Samoa Joe and MJF versus the Devil's crew. I don't really remember it or know what it's going for. But MJF accepted. Samoa Joe gets upset because he could get hurt during that match. Doesn't want MJF to have an excuse.
Yeah.
But I'm really interested. And since CM Punk's in WWE, I think that the Devil is Britt Baker.
DMD.
I believe it's Britt Baker because I feel like the other guys are Roderick Strong, the guys that are in the Kingdom, and maybe Kyle O'Reilly. And they're all jealous, Adam's spending all this time with MJF. I mean, and Britt has some hot takes that she says about MJF on Twitter. She's a keyboard warrior, but I mean, I can't tell you. This is such a good story. I don't know who the Devil is, man.
It's gotta be Britt Baker.
It's gotta be.
It's gotta be.
But Wardlow and AR Fox, squash match per usual.
I love Wardlow. I saw Wardlow live in Raleigh in PNC Arena last year. The dude is, he's going to be something special.
And I mean, he wants to fight MJF. Well, MJF's got so many storylines going right now, man.
Yeah.
Everything's on end. But you had, these boys right here, the Hardy Boys and Brother Zay, having a match last night against Top Flight with the returning Dante Martin. Top Flight ends up winning. Bummer. I love Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy. But they're getting old, so I mean, it was expected. But after that match, they have an interview backstage. Pentagon comes out there, says he's sorry, apologizes for, the injury that happened to Dante, which is very gruesome. Then he says, 1, 2, 3. And then he says 1, pointing at himself, points at Commander, and then points at El Vikingo. I mean, that's going to be a high-flying match, man. And I'm so down to see it. I'm so excited for it. And, I mean, I love Dante Martin. Such a young star.
He is. And speaking about Pentagon, if Pentagon got a pay-per-view match,
He's going all out.
He's going out. I don't know if you remember the match. It was he and his team. I can't remember the team he was with. I think it was last year. It was Pentagon and his teammate versus the Young Bucks in a steel cage match.
Ray Phoenix.
Yeah, Ray Phoenix. Man, that was a
good match.
That was one of the greatest tag team matches I've ever witnessed in my 21 years of life. One of the greatest I've ever witnessed.
We're going to run through real fast the Julia Hart match. Julia Hart faces a bum. I don't even remember her name. But, shocker, Julia Hart's fine self wins. She better get a good push.
Yeah.
I love her. Then you got Adam Copeland.
Yeah.
Adam Copeland and Christian's promo. Christian calls him out in a good way, trying to, make him seem like they're friends again.
Mm-hmm.
Brings up his mom, brings up all these other things, trying to sound all sweet. Adam turns around, Christian tries to low blow him. But what happened, or hit him with the title. He tried to hit him with the title, and then Adam low blowed him. And I mean, he's just like, He said some very vulgar words that did not get bleeped out. It did not get bleeped out. And then he says, "I'll see you in Canada next week for the TNT title." I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't think that they're gonna give Adam the title this fast.
No.
I think Christian's gonna win because I believe that Nick Wayne and Killswitch now instead of Luchasaurus, that Killswitch is gonna come out and do all whatever they got going on. But now for the match of the night. Switchblade, Jay White. And whose house? Swerve's house. Swerve's house. Jay White and Swerve Strickland in the Continental Classic. Great match, dude. It almost goes up to a time limit. And I mean, Swerve is getting a mean push right now. After that match with Hangman Page, he got staples in his chest. Staples in his face.
Ugh. God almighty.
It was a great Texas death match. One of my favorite Texas death matches of all time. It might be in my top 5 favorite matches of all time. It was great the entire match. And I think he's getting a mean push, and I'm here for it. With the fact that, you know, him and Jay White, it was a really good match. Had some really good spots. He tried to sell the shoulder injury, which, you know, is going on still from the death match. But you've also got where Swerve wins. He hits him with the the stomp that he has. Jay kicks out. Then he gets hit with the it's almost like the Sister Abigail that Bray Wyatt had.
Rip R.I.P.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the move is called. I don't remember. I think it was called it might be called like Switchblade or something like that. I'm not sure. I have like short memory, but he hits that. Swerve rolls out of the ring. I was rooting. I was cheering. I was like, thank you. I want Swerve to win this. And I do love Jay White. I got a Bullet Club Gold shirt. Swerve hits him, pins him, gets the win. It was just all around really good match. I love Swerve.
Swerve is going to be something one of these days. If he's hanging with, like you said, Adam Page, that Texas Death Match, and that's already in your top 5.
Yeah.
Your top 5 greatest matches all time.
And on that entire show, you had Bryan Danielson coming out there as a commentator for the majority of the show. I love AEW's commentators more than WWE. You got Taz, dude.
God.
Taz is so funny.
He is.
I love his son Hook. You had Danielson last night. You got Shivani. Everybody loves Shivani, man.
I love Shivani.
You got, what's his name?
I can't think of his name. He has the mask on. He has that lucha mask on. I can't think of his name.
See, it's always on the spot when I can't remember this dude's name.
Should we Google search it?
Oh, wait, no, it's Excalibur.
Oh, yeah, Excalibur.
I've never seen one of his matches. I didn't even know he was an actual wrestler. I don't know where he came from.
Me neither.
But I don't care enough to know, to be honest.
He's good. Very good commentator.
He's a good commentator, but I just don't like the guy.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's just annoying to me.
Yeah.
Honestly. But this is where we have our segment, Match of the Week. Match of the Week. It's our segment where Arthur will pick me a match, and I pick Arthur a match, and we'll watch it, and then we'll discuss it on the next week's show. Arthur Pridgeon, are you ready for my match?
Yes, Linwood Robinson.
Government name is wild. My match is Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega, the second match at Forbidden Door. It might be my favorite match of all time. It went on for like an hour. I'm not going to get into it, but it was a dang good match. It showed they still got it.
Of course. Kenny Omega, dude, he's still going great at his age. I don't know if we remember the match. I mean, I know we're getting out there. Remember the match he had with Jericho when AEW first started?
Yes.
Dang.
I know you remember the death match that he had, or the exploding barbed wire match with Moxley, which had a horrible botch with the pyro.
I know the pyro was bad, but
I mean, dude, our Mudcat fireworks are better than that pyro.
I know.
And it's AEW. Like, come on, dude. Well, what's your match for me?
All right. This is one of my favorite matches of all time. And I think everyone would agree it's got to be in everyone's top 5. It's The Undertaker versus Triple H, the end of an era, 2012, WrestleMania 28.
The Hell in a Cell with special guest referee, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
I mean, let's just forget them. I don't know if y'all know, if you watched it and you're brand new. The guy on his shirt, Shawn Michaels, favorite wrestler all time. In his words, he's the GOAT, the greatest of all time.
2 Hall of Fame careers.
Yeah. And he had arguably one of his greatest matches later in his career. Like
Yeah, dude, literally. 2 of his greatest matches were his last 2 WrestleMania events with Undertaker. Like, I mean, it's just crazy. But that was the first WrestleMania that I ever watched.
25?
No, it was the one with the Hell in a Cell match.
Oh.
That was the first one that I ever watched. My dad got it for me, and I didn't even ask for it. But my dad said, "You want to watch WrestleMania?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And I was like, I love WrestleMania. So glad it's on Peacock Network, so I don't got to spend so much money, half a tank on gas on a pay-per-view.
Back then, the pay-per-views cost like $59.99 back in the day. Now it's $9.99 a month.
You're not lying on that one.
So much better. The quality's even better when you stream it online instead of like, oh, I gotta record, hopefully I don't lose it.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's what you have to worry about 11 years. Now in 2023, people are luxurious. You can watch it over and over and over again, not to worry about it. And then when you forgot to record it and you want to watch it again, you got to buy it again. You had to buy it again.
Yeah, and I mean, Arthur here is a fossil. So, you know, I mean, he was watching them suckers, you know, as he was probably in high school. I was watching them as like a kindergarten student, you know?
Now, we only have 2 years apart, so I ain't that much of a fossil.
I'm 19.
I'm 21. I said we're 2 years apart.
I thought she was like 23, man.
Hey. Well. It was a kid-friendly show. I'm gonna let you win this one. It's a kid-friendly show. So.
With that being said, to all my fellow marks out there, we've come to the end of our show.
All right, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode of the Styling Profiling Podcast. And don't forget, guys, every Friday a new episode will drop on this channel.
Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button to show us some support. And with that being said, I must bid you adieu, goodbye, mwah, and good night. Bang.
On a style, woo, and profile, woo, styling and profiling, woo.